Welcome back to World Crisis Radio. Webster Tarpley here in Washington, D.C. Now, the abyss gaped on the afternoon of Thursday, September 18th, when the Putnam Money Market Fund busted the buck. And that's where you have these reports about the $500 billion fleeing the dollar and the dollar facing a catastrophic collapse on the afternoon of September 18th. That's when we had a meeting of Pelosi, Paulson, and Helicopter Ben, joined by Harry Reid, Dodd, Barney Frank, Shelby, Boehner, and others, all attempting to get the TARP, the bailout, going. Now, the result, the depression. You have this thing called the Baltic Dry Index, which is it's a measure of the demand for shipping. The Daily Mail of London, Thursday, September 24th, revealed the ghost fleet of the recession, or depression, I would say, anchored just east of Singapore. And they show you a picture of what looks like dozens, scores, hundreds of ships lying at anchor with no cargoes, no crews, no nothing, because maritime traffic, world trade, has collapsed. It's down 33% in dollar value, according to the WTO. The Daily Mail writes, the biggest and most secretive gathering of ships in maritime history lies at anchor east of Singapore. Never before photographed, it is bigger than the U.S. and British navies combined, but it has no crew, no cargo, and no destination. This is why your Christmas stocking may be rather empty this year. What this refers to, this is the key index, the most important overarching index of all the economic indicators you can get. It is these container ships tied together, anchored off the port of Singapore, southern Malaysia is the area. It's like those airliners parked in the desert there of Arizona, New Mexico. This is the area by the Straits of Malacca between Malaysia and Indonesia. A couple of years ago, those ships would have been steaming back and forth, but now 12% of the world's container ships are doing absolutely nothing. That is a world economic depression, and you're going to need New Deal measures to get out of it. The market won't help you. The market is just one of many ways to die. There's the Obama method, and there's the free market method. You can choose between the reactionaries of the free market and Obama of the fascist corporate state. So we're just hoping to get Phil Berg on the line from Philadelphia for our weekly update in terms of the legal actions against Obama. This is now a well-loved feature of the program. Let me just point in the meantime to the antics of Obama, of course, amounting to what has been often called appeasement. And of course, it is appeasement. Obama is a coward. Obama is a weakling, but it's all by design. Because, again, the U.S. is not taking the point. The U.S., too bankrupt, too hated, too isolated, armies defeated and demoralized at the point of collapse, right? 120,000 in Iraq and supposedly now 40,000 more to reach 100,000 or so in Afghanistan. Where are those troops supposed to come from? Obama's in the process of breaking the U.S. Army in the same way that the French generals broke the French Army back in 1917. But Obama's an appeaser. You just have to remember what appeasement was. Appeasement was not a peace policy. Appeasement was the goal of Sir Neville Chamberlain, the Clifton set, Lady Astor, Lord Astor, and the rest of their fascist clique. Build up Hitler, send him east, play Hitler against Stalin, Nazi Germany against the Soviet Union, destroy both if possible, certainly weaken both, and the British Empire can go on for another 100 years. The Brzezinski plan is play Iran against Russia, Russia against Iran, Iran against China, China against Russia. Anything you can do in that regard is all gravy, and maybe the U.S.-British world domination can go on for another century. And in the process, note, and this is now a very interesting confirmation, I told you repeatedly there will be no attack on Iran. And we have the Brzezinski interview with the Daily Beast where he tells Gerald Posner, if the Israelis attempt to strike at Iran, the U.S. Air Force should be given orders to challenge them, to deflect them, and if necessary, shoot them down in a U.S. Liberty in reverse incident. Now, this is a rather vehement form of what I was telling you the whole time. The U.S. and the British have bigger things to do with Iran than get themselves involved, bogged down in another quagmire, unwinnable, hopeless war. This is what Brzezinski said at the beginning of 2007. He said if these Cheney people are allowed to pull off another false flag operation, the U.S. will be at war alone with Iraq, Iran, Pakistan, and Afghanistan, and that is hopeless. And that was Brzezinski's project of 2007, was to try to stop that. So that is why I don't believe there will be an attack on Iran. Obama has other things, other fish to fry with Iran, and that is to play Iran against Russia. That is the goal. And that, of course, in order to do that, you can't go attacking Iran. We're now joined by the Alpha Birther, the founder of the birth certificate legal cause at the Supreme Court back in August of 2008. Phil Berg took the lead, and he's still in the lead, so we're always glad to have him on the program. Phil, welcome. Can you give us an update?
Well, not much more to update, except we're closer to the October 26th hearing date for before the Third Circuit Court of Appeals on the issue of standing. Third Circuit takes in Pennsylvania, New Jersey, and Delaware. All this information can be found on our website, obamacrimes.com. This is the issue I was thrown out on standing last year, and it's taken its time working itself up to the Third Circuit. They had us tentatively scheduled this past May, but put it off. So hopefully October 26th, we will go forth for standing. You know, for your listeners out there, the court below stated that I didn't have standing, that Webster, you didn't have standing, none of your listeners had standing, no one had standing to challenge the U.S. Constitution, which I think is absurd. So we're hoping that the Third Circuit will have some, well, I guess what we need is justices and judges with guts, because, you know, we're going against the President of the United States, but he really doesn't belong being president. He's a usurper. He has spent over $1.5 million. You don't spend that kind of money hiding everything unless you really have something to hide.
I also want to stress what I think we talked about last week is that there are two questions involved here. One is Obama a natural-born citizen? And that's one of the things that the Constitution demands. But there's also the question, is he 35 years of age? Because you've also got to be 35 years of age. And that has to be proven, too. And that, you know, that may not be evident, right? There's no prima facie case that he's 35 years old.
That's right. I mean, we know nothing. All his records are sealed. You know, everyone's assuming he was born August 4th, 1961, because he said so on that fraudulent document he posted. But if other information on that thing's phony, you know, we have to see a certified copy of his vault birth certificate. And the additional thing is, I really believe his name is Barry Soturo. That's his adopted name in Indonesia. And if he hasn't legally changed his name since that time, then he's committed a fraud among the American public by putting his name down as Barack Hussein Obama. He has a lot of questions to answer, and I just hope we can get the court to do something. If not, we have to stress, get the American public involved. If we can get 75 million people involved in this out of the 220 million that are eligible to vote, we can make a difference in this country.
Okay, Phil. We'll be with you again next week and keep up with the news. But October 26th in Philadelphia, ObamaCrimes.com. Phil Berg, thank you very much.
Thank you.